Hey guys, I haven't updated in such a long time. I'm really sorry about that. But for those of you who are friends with me on Facebook, I've actually been really sick, to the point where I had to leave work for a while, and I'll have to stay away from work, and I'll tell you guys more about that in a minute. Basically, last time I updated was week 7. So from weeks 8 to 12, I'm 13 weeks today. Nothing really different happened other than being sick, which is what I'm going to talk about. Everything else was, pretty consistent with my weeks 4 to 7. So I've been to the hospital twice. The first time was because I was having a really bad burning sensation. I'm sure you guys can imagine where. I'm sorry, I'm in the car. And so it turned out that I had a UTI. And I think actually this was when I was between 7 and 8 weeks. I had a UTI, and the nurse was really rude. She was really trying to scare me into thinking that I was going to have a miscarriage because I was, really early in my pregnancy. And she said, well, that's like the number one cause of miscarriage in early pregnancy. True or not, my doctor certainly didn't think that she should have been saying that, because plenty of women have UTIs during pregnancy, even early on. But that got taken care of. Within a week, it was gone. Second time I got to the hospital was about 2 or 3 weeks after that, and it turns out I was cramping a lot. And actually this was, let me see, this was actually at around 11 weeks, so it wasn't too long ago. It was probably 2 weeks ago. I was cramping, so my OBGYN asked me to go to the hospital because it was past hours. And they did an ultrasound, and everything turned out to be okay. The doctor just said it must have been around ligament pains. But these were different from the pains that I was having early on. It wasn't even cramping, to be honest. It was more like sharp pain, which is what was scaring me. So that's why I just said I'm going to go in just to make sure everything's fine. But he said it was probably just around ligament pain, and nothing to worry about. They checked my ovaries and everything to make sure I didn't have any cysts, and everything just turned out fine. Baby was really healthy. The heartbeat was 167, so it had gone up from the 150 that it was during 7 weeks. The baby was also a lot bigger, and I kind of talked the ultrasound tech into telling me what she thought it was from what she was seeing as far as the gender goes. And I'm not gonna say what it is, but she did tell me that she was pretty sure that it wasn't gonna be changing, even though it was almost 12 weeks. I know that's really early on, but in her opinion, from all the ultrasounds that she's done, she doesn't see it really changing from the way that it was. So, a few days after that, I ended up going for my first prenatal visit, and the doctor did the heartbeat, and it had gone down to 147, and that freaked me out, because that's a big difference from a few days ago at the hospital. And I asked him about it, but he said that as the baby gets older, the heartbeat slows down, and then he says, well, that usually means it's a boy if it's slower, if it's a lower heartbeat. So who knows what it could be, but I have a feeling, me and my entire family and even all my friends have a feeling it's the same gender. We all think the same thing. I'm just going to go ahead and say we all think it's a girl. So we'll see. I'm going to be pretty shocked if it's a boy, to be honest, because I just have that really strong feeling. So talking about the gender, during all this, I'm trying to remember, I'm sorry this is like everywhere, but I'm trying to come up with everything that I have done in these 5 weeks. But let me go ahead and finish talking about how I've been sick before I move on to other things. Basically, pre-pregnancy, I had a hypothyroidism condition, and it was really bad. It was a little bit under control before I got pregnant, and then just recently I got my blood work results back, and my thyroid is over exhausting itself. And the way the doctor described it to me is that basically to think of it as my thyroid getting a cold, and all my antibodies are all like really high up, and it's to the point where they're getting ready to give out. Like they don't want to stop working, and he's afraid that that's going to make me susceptible to getting sicker and to catching things. And I was so ready, I couldn't handle being at work anymore, to be honest. I was so sick all the time. So my boss and I agreed, she was going to give me some time off until I get better, or perhaps even until after I give birth, if that's what it's going to take. But I really don't want to take my chances with this pregnancy. I don't want anything to happen to my baby, and I need to be healthy in order for my baby to be healthy. So that is the decision that me and my doctors made, that it's best for me to just lay low during this pregnancy, because they really need me to, stay away from people. And to be honest, people at work were getting sick. Everybody pretty much has been sick at work. So I probably caught something there, and I would have continued to get sick if I didn't stop going. So that's that. I'm just now starting to get over it, but I still have a really bad cold. I can't breathe, and it's killing me. On top of not being able to breathe well because I'm pregnant, I'm just stuffed up from my cold, and it's just horrible. I can't even sleep at night. But so unfortunately, you know how I had the UTI at early on at like 7 weeks? Well, now I have another one, and I don't know why. Okay, so I asked the doctor, why am I getting all these UTIs? Is this even normal? And he says it is. He says it is, that he sees a lot of patients that get UTIs. He says that if you're going to get UTIs and yeast infections, basically it's going to be when you're pregnant. And I had never had a yeast infection in my life, and now I do. And he says it's small, but it's bothersome nonetheless. And then the UTIs keep coming back, so it's very uncomfortable. So that's it with the sicknesses. This week, yeah, I think this week or this past week, I'm not sure. This is this week. This week, I believe on Wednesday, I had Down syndrome testing that I agreed to. And the reason I agreed to it was, one, because I have an uncle with Down syndrome, and two, because if there is an issue, I want to be able to be prepared for it in advance. I believe that's something that if the baby does have Down syndrome, I'd rather start doing my research now and getting prepared now, so that I'm ready when the baby's born, and I'm not trying to figure it all out at once at the last minute. What else? The baby was, you could actually make out the baby. That's how big of a difference it was from all my other ultrasounds. I was so happy, so excited. It was so cute. The heartbeat actually had gone back up to 150, so slightly, but it went back up. And I'm going to make a part 2 of this video because I'm about to run out of time. So look out for part 2.